If you're still feeling very raw from a connection you had with a romantic partner or someone you had a little fling with, and it's kind of stuck in you, it's like a stuck energy. And if this is you, you'll know what I'm talking about. Experienced it myself. And what I'm here to challenge you to think about is, first off, if you feel this way, the connection was real. It was not in your head, and it definitely could have potentially been very exciting in the beginning and very magical, and then gone downhill very quickly. It's a thing. It happens. But what you need to learn from these experiences, and what I've learned, is that oftentimes these kind of exciting, passionate, short-lived relationships are just a reflection of two people mirroring each other for their deep-seated wounds, or mirroring each other for the validation that they're looking for. I think what is very revealing to your soul are these types of relationships where you start questioning your worth and you start questioning your value to others. And what you really need to look at is, where did this trigger me? Did this trigger abandonment wounds? Like, for example, just waiting for the other foot to drop, and then, oh my God, the foot dropped, he left or she left. And it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. A person who is meant to be in your life will not run away. A person who's meant to be in your life will not make you second guess your self-worth, and will not make you question if you are lovable, amazing, or any of that. Obviously, they saw your beauty and they saw your spark because you had the connection to begin with. And that was real. That was not fake. But what happens is when two people get together who haven't learned self-validation, who haven't learned true self-love, unconditional love of self, regardless of all of our flaws, what quickly happens is passion turns into chaos and chemistry turns into addiction. It leaves us feeling very raw and questioning everything about ourselves. And it's easy to romanticize someone, especially if they're your perfect type and it started off so good and the chemistry was amazing, and then you're left alone wondering what the fuck happened. And what I've learned over my years of experience is that the other person is just a mirror of what you need from yourself. And when you start to learn to give these things to yourself, it makes your relationships so much better, because now you're not dependent on someone else to validate you as a person. You're not dependent on someone else to feel loved. If you can bring all those things to yourself, which you can bring all those things to yourself, then you're gonna understand why that situationship didn't work out. Because if you look closely and you peel away the layers to the red flags, you peel away the layers to the signs, you're gonna realize that both individuals were not in a place to care for another person. And I can fully admit that I've been in situations where all I did was want, and I wanted validation, I wanted physical touch, I wanted romance, and the love I was giving this person, it wasn't an unconditional type love. The love I was giving was conditional. The attention I was giving was conditional. I give you attentions, you give me attentions back. I give you physical touch, you make me feel physical touch. That's where it starts, is especially in these situations that are passion driven and chemistry driven with no depth, is at first it feels reciprocated because you're both giving, but then it turns ugly, and we've experienced that. I've experienced that. And my best word of advice is to really see it for what it was, which is a mirror for what you actually need to give yourself. And if you really think about that relationship or that fling or that situationship, and you think about the areas where you struggled the most in it, and you realize, oh, I couldn't handle being alone, or I was waiting for their text all day because I don't like being by myself. You have to learn to love yourself by yourself, and you have to learn to fill the void with other things. You cannot depend on another person to fill the void in your life. Or give that love and care to yourself. Do things that make you feel special. Buy yourself flowers, make yourself a nice meal, take a bubble bath, and just caress yourself. It sounds weird, maybe, but it's very nice and very fulfilling. And I'm not saying that life is meant to be lived alone, but what I am saying is the more you can validate yourself, because everyone's a mirror, you'll attract someone else who also validates themselves. Now you have people who aren't hyper dependent on each other and can really genuinely build a real connection. So just know, if you're in it and you're feeling it and you feel that you can't let go, you need to look at that person as a lesson and know that the universe is trying to teach you something, and you're not delusional. You just weren't in a place where you were ready to give or receive love. And that's okay. And we're all learning together. And as long as you can acknowledge that it wasn't you, it wasn't them, it was two people who didn't know how to validate themselves. And when you have an empty cup and someone else has an empty cup, you can't fill each other's cups up. And if one person has a full cup and the other person has an empty cup, maybe the full person can add to the empty cup and you both have half empty or half full, however you look at it, cups. You're still in a mediocre situation. The best kind of relationship to fall into is when you both have full cups and then you have no lack. Like, it's all great most of the time. We're all human. But I encourage you to really do a deep dive and ask yourself, where did this relationship or lack of relationship really trigger me? And what do I maybe need to work on in myself so that this doesn't happen again? I love you. You got this.